If you are a pediatric service provider like an SLP, a psychologist, social worker, or any other type of clinician, you know that providing support for your caseload and actually delivering high quality services can be a challenge in the system that we're working in. So I wanted to just take a couple minutes and share a solution because most productivity advice out there for clinicians just isn't very helpful. I'm Karen Dudek-Brannan, and I help pediatric therapists to provide better support for their caseload and make a bigger impact with their services by being better leaders. And what I'm going to share with you today is one of the key foundational skills that you need in order to really be a good leader, because what it helps you do is gain control of your time and prioritize. And that is something that is really important, especially if you have a huge caseload and you're wanting to figure out how to be resourceful so that you can be more effective in the job that you're currently in, as well as if you're thinking about what your next step in your career might be. If you're considering moving on to something else, then this can be a foundational skill that's going to help you now and in the future. So let's talk about the big elephant in the room, which is that there's a lot of productivity advice out there for therapists, and it's not effective because you can't solve your problems with these little productivity hacks or apps or checklists with all these random tactics. If you have an unreasonable workload, there's only so much time that you can block out during the day. And you know that if you want to be a good leader, if you want to really provide comprehensive support for your caseload, you need to do a lot of things besides just direct therapy planning. So it's not just about what you're doing in your therapy sessions when you have your clients in front of you. You also need to think about, okay, how do I take what I'm doing in therapy and make sure that my clients and my students have support across the day, which means that we have to be developing training materials that we could share with parents, teachers, other therapists, everybody else who comes in contact with our students. We also need to think about, who do I need to collaborate with so that I can work together as a team with these other people who are also supporting the clients that I have on my caseload. We also need to think about, how do I build relationships so that I can actually have an impact on the protocols and how things are done in my facility or my community. There's all these other things that really fall under this window of being a good leader as a clinician that are really hard to fit in if you don't have enough time. And the reason that most people don't have enough time to do these things is because they're not doing what I refer to as asset stacking. What they're trying to do is just block out time and use these random tactics like apps and planners and schedulers to try to do all of these things at once. And that is just not going to work because it's just too much. The thing is that most people don't realize that you don't need to block out time for all of these things at once. All you need to do is create enough time to build your next asset. And you can do this effectively when you use a concept that I refer to as asset stacking. What you do is you start with your first asset, and all you need to do is create a system and block out enough time to get to your next asset. What those assets allow you to do is stack one on top of another, and that helps you to save more time, get more out of the time that you spend doing all the things that you're doing. And what that allows you to do is create leverage over time. And what I have on the screen is an example of an asset stack. What we want to do is we want to start with creating a good, solid productivity protocol. What that allows you to do is block out just a little time to build your next asset, something that's going to help you be more effective. We don't have to do all the things at once. We just want to focus on building one asset. Assets could be things like building skills. So skills could be an asset. It could be protocols that are going to help make you more efficient and effective that you just invest time in upfront to build, but then you can use them over and over again to get you better results. So protocols and systems. And then we also have relationships and collaborations that are also going to help you to have influence, pool your resources, and be more effective. So when we think about assets, we think about skills, systems, relationships, and then eventually a lot of these things also help us to get access to financial resources, whether this means funding for specific things for our caseload, where we work, or whether this means financial resources for ourselves, like additional income streams that give us more flexibility with the way that we work, that give us more options and help make us more marketable. So again, assets, skills, systems, relationships, financial resources. We want to stack these things one on top of another and do them strategically over time. So what I've got up on the screen is an example of an asset stack. We can start with our productivity protocols, which is going to help us block out a little more time. This could help us to build a protocol that we could use to collaborate with some of our colleagues. We could use that collaboration protocol to build a couple key relationships. Those key relationships could help us to get access to more resources, which could help our therapy time be more focused, because maybe those resources that we have are enabling us to be more efficient and make sure that our students get better support. Maybe we don't have to spend as much time on certain things in therapy because they're being addressed elsewhere because of those resources and relationships that we've created. This more focused therapy time helps us develop better clinical skills, which could help us be more efficient. So we could block out some time to build our networking skills, which could help us to build some additional relationships, which could help us to have more influence over protocols in our facility. And so these things over time, we're going to keep stacking. You can kind of see how you create a bunch of resources. We create one at a time. And what this enables us to do is be more efficient, get better results so that we can build those habits, build those assets, and then move on to the next one. So when we use this stacking concept, what this enables us to do is better serve our caseload that we have now and help us to get better results so that we can put ourselves in a position where we have options, and also so that we can be way more effective in the way that we serve our caseloads, which makes us feel good about our work because we know we're being effective. And it also can put you in a situation where you feel like you have really good marketable skills and you have a lot of options. So maybe you choose to stay in your current job, but you always know that you're super marketable and you are able to use those skills to pursue other options and income streams if you want, so that you are doing work that you choose to do, not work that you have to do. This is what it means to be a clinical leader and to make a bigger impact with your work. And this is a key strategy that you can use in order to create the leverage to make it happen. I actually am going through this technique and showing the whole system that you can use to make this work in a free training for pediatric therapists. So if you are an SLP, a psychologist, a social worker, and you want to learn how to provide better support for your caseload using this concept of asset stacking and really get the big picture of how it works, then I invite you to sign up for a free training where I will walk through this strategy and why it's so effective in providing comprehensive support for your caseload. Whether you want to just stay in your current position and be more effective, or whether you want to think about the next step and the next stage of your career, and you want to build those foundational skills now that you need in order to succeed in that next step. So to go to that free training and to sign up, you can just go to drkarendudek-brannan.com/asset stack, and you'll be able to sign up. You'll just have to enter your information into that form, pick a time to watch the training, and you'll be able to learn how it works. Again, that's drkarendudek-brannan.com/asset stack.